So I think that's pretty much it. As far as groups concerned, the groups are usually about 45 minutes, which will give you some time to kind of meet with your teachers, but we'll make any adjustments as we have. Okay, so now I'm going to go over the form. Any request to meet with the social worker, it says student request to meet with the high school social worker, and again, I'll put these in the homeworks. The date, put the date on it so that I know pretty much when the date was requested, the name, your name, and your age. Circle grades 9, 10, 11, or 12. The reason why there's 12, even though there's no 12th grade, is that I plan on having this, you know, in the social work department from now on, and next year there will be 12th graders. So none of you, please don't check off 12th grade, even if you think you belong in the 12th grade, you're not. And so don't check off 12th grade now, more Alex. And then put your advisory teacher, which right now is your homeroom teacher, but after this quarter, it may not necessarily be your homeroom teacher, but it'll give me a sense of sort of where I can find you at least at advisory. Okay? The next section is sort of, there's a checkbox for about me or about a friend. Sometimes most times, I think students are going to be requesting for services for themselves, but sometimes kids have had concerns about their friends, and I think it's important that you find a way to kind of help other people along, and I'm a way that you can kind of do that, so that if you have a concern about a friend, then you can put that this concern is about a friend. Given that you're not going to list the person that it's about, that this is going to be your name, I'll at least know that your concern is about a friend of yours, and so when I meet with you, I'll be like, well, let's talk about your friend instead of let's talk about you. Okay? Okay. Would you like to be seen today or as soon as possible? Meaning, if you give it to me in the afternoon, say that you put it in my mailbox at 2 o'clock, and there's no way that I can get to it today, I'll see you as soon as possible, which will probably be the next day. Within 1 week, you can check that off. If you want me to meet you with someone, say a parent, a family member, specify who. And then if it's with a teacher because you're having a particular problem with a teacher, or you trust a particular teacher and you don't really know me, and so you want this teacher to kind of meet with me and you, then that's fine also. Just check that off so I know. If you check off a teacher, just let me know which teacher it is, and please don't specify a teacher that doesn't work at the school, because that might be a little hard to negotiate. Okay. Okay, so then check what applies or what you want to discuss. There's a couple of different sections in that. So check what applies or what you want to discuss further. If you've been feeling sad but you don't really want to talk about feeling sad, then don't necessarily check that off. Or put a note next to it, not wanting to discuss this right now, you just want me to know it. Okay, so first is social situation. I have an issue with a classmate, a teacher, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, a parent, a family member. You're having an issue with making friends. You're having an issue maybe with keeping friends, or you're experiencing peer pressure. Then you can check off any of those. Distracting emotions. Distracting emotions means that you want to talk about something that's that you've been feeling that's really distracting you, either from your classwork or your from doing things that you'd like to do. So you've been feeling really stressed, you've been feeling sad, you've been feeling angry, confused, exhausted, and I mean sort of like emotionally exhausted. You've been feeling really nervous, you've been feeling really worried, maybe uncomfortable, overwhelmed, or jealous. Jealousy is one of those emotions that they can be very distracting. If you're sort of feeling like, oh, my boyfriend's sitting in class with me, but you know, every time he talks to another girl, I'm just like so jealous. I can't focus on my math teacher, and I'm failing math now. You know, check that off. That applies. Some of you may laugh or whatever, but you know, seriously, this is serious. Distracting thoughts. Okay, so you've been thinking about making a difficult decision. You want to talk about that. Maybe you've been thinking about changing a habit that you don't like, and not necessarily that someone else doesn't like, but that you don't necessarily like and that you want to kind of change, or you want to kind of talk about how you can, you know, do a different habit. Someone who you miss a lot, and it doesn't necessarily have to be someone who's died. It can be someone that maybe left the home, maybe you had a sibling that moved out recently, or maybe your parents split up and you don't get a chance to see one of your parents, or maybe it was that somebody actually died and you've been missing them a lot. Check that off. Something that happened to you. So extremes would be maybe you witnessed someone being robbed, or maybe something else happened to you, somebody did something to you, somebody forced you to do something, or you were coming to school and you almost got hit by a car and you want to talk about that. Whatever it is, if it's about you thinking about something that's happened to you, then you can check that off and we can talk about it further. The last two are very serious, so don't check them off in haste or sort of like not thinking about it too much. They're taken very seriously. If you've been thinking about harming or hurting someone, or you've been thinking about harming or hurting yourself. So if you check either of those two off and you put that you want to be seen within a week, don't be surprised if I see you a little bit sooner, because I think that's something that should be paid attention to a little bit more promptly. The next section, and the last one that I'll kind of go over, is the safety and wellness section. And that has to do with maybe you're using drugs, or maybe you've been experimenting with alcohol and you want to talk about that a little bit more. Whether you're bothered by it or not, you just kind of want to talk about it. You can check that off. If it has to do with some kind of sexual behavior, so say that you're being pressured to have sex, or that you're having sex, or you're not comfortable having sex but you kind of give in to having sex, or whatever it is, it has to do something with sexual behavior, then check that off, and then we'll talk about it more when you come in. If you've been feeling unsafe for whatever reason, whether you're feeling unsafe when you leave school or when you're in your neighborhood, or even if it's that you're feeling unsafe at home because of something that's going on, maybe people are in the apartment that live next door to you are arguing a lot, or anything that could contribute to you sort of feeling unsafe, you can check that off. Okay, I know that this was not in place last year, and again, I said you can always come to me and just talk to me and let me know what's going on. But for some of you that don't necessarily know me, this may be a good way to kind of bridge that gap and to sort of say, sometimes things are difficult to say, so you can kind of write it down and then we can talk about it a little bit more, and I'll go as slow as you need to go. Okay, any other comments that may be helpful, write them down. Again, feel free to fill this out if you want to be seen, say within the next week. Probably not going to be starting to see students until next week, given that today's Friday afternoon. So fill it out if you need to see me, and if you don't need to see me, then you can just fill out the opposite side, which is the getting to know you form, and then I'll get to know you a little bit more, and you'll see me around, so you'll get to know me a little bit more also. Take care. Thanks for your attention. Bye, guys.